A Warminster man is arrested and charged with the murder of his girlfriend. The victim you see right here, just 25 years old.
The early morning of a typical Sunday morning, which should be an exciting moment to be thinking about appearing in God's presence, turned into a dark mode. The bright future of Alyssa Rose Wiest, a vibrant 25-year-old, violently shattered when her 26-year-old boyfriend, Michael Dukiewicz, brutally shot her dead in Pennsylvania. This devastating act of domestic violence ripped through their community, immediately drawing widespread attention to the horrifying circumstances of her death. Her promising life ended abruptly, igniting a fervent pursuit of justice against the man who once claimed to love her. Reports quickly emerged, painting a stark picture of the incident. Alyssa succumbed to a fatal gunshot wound, allegedly inflicted by Dukiewicz. This chilling detail immediately propelled the case into the spotlight, underscoring the insidious danger that can tragically materialize within intimate partnerships. The sheer violence of the act left observers reeling, questioning how such an unthinkable tragedy could unfold between two young people in Pennsylvania. Authorities in Pennsylvania moved swiftly, launching an immediate investigation into Alyssa's murder. Law enforcement converged on the crime scene, meticulously gathering forensic evidence and beginning the arduous process of piecing together the final, horrific moments of Alyssa's life. Their focused efforts aimed to confirm the events, secure the area, and build an irrefutable case against Michael Dukiewicz. Before we continue, if this story resonates with you, please subscribe to LAT True Crime Stories and turn on the notification bell to never miss thrilling cases like this. The shocking reality that Alyssa's own boyfriend allegedly committed this heinous act amplified the tragedy. This profound betrayal of trust, inherent in a romantic relationship, added another layer of heartbreak to the already devastating loss. The community grappled with the unsettling question of how a bond built on affection could spiral into such an extreme act of violence. Michael Dukiewicz soon faced formal charges, with the district attorney's office in Pennsylvania leading the prosecution. This official action signaled the commencement of the legal battle, aiming to hold Dukiewicz accountable for Alyssa's murder. The justice system prepared to dissect the complex dynamics of their relationship and the events leading to the fatal shooting. This detailed account delves into the tragic life and death of Alyssa Rose Wiest, examining the trajectory of her relationship with Michael Dukiewicz, the horrifying details of her murder in Pennsylvania, and the subsequent legal proceedings that sought to deliver justice. We explore the potential signs that may have preceded this violence and the broader implications of domestic homicide within intimate partnerships. Alyssa Rose Wiest, a vibrant 25-year-old, and Michael Dukiewicz, 26, shared a 2-year relationship that, according to initial appearances, wove their lives together in Pennsylvania. Their connections seemingly blossomed, like many young couples, as they navigated shared experiences and built a life side by side. Friends and family likely witnessed the early stages of their romance, perhaps perceiving a normal, developing partnership between two individuals embarking on their adult lives. Their shared existence often saw them cohabiting in West Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, a detail confirmed by the investigation. This shared residence indicated a significant level of commitment and intimacy, suggesting a relationship where they spent considerable time together, intertwining their daily routines and personal spaces. The privacy of their home would later become the tragically significant backdrop to the horrific events that unfolded.
A Warminster man is arrested and charged with the murder of his girlfriend. The victim you see right here, just 25 years old. Cheyenne, this appears to be another horrific case of domestic violence.
Unfortunately, yes, Jason. I'm actually standing in the neighborhood where Alyssa lives. She was found on the sidewalk just a few yards away. Today I spoke with her sister, who understandably so is not ready to address the public, but she did share with us that Alyssa was a vibrant person and she will be very missed. It's a normally quiet West Conshohocken neighborhood, but neighbors say on Sunday morning, the sound of screams rang through the 200 block of Moorhead Avenue. Montgomery County District Attorney's Office says it was 25-year-old Alyssa Rose Wiest running out of her home after being shot multiple times. Officers administered first aid before she died at Lincoln Hospital. Her boyfriend, 26-year-old Michael Dutkiewicz from Warminster, turned himself into police yesterday and is charged with her murder. In a statement, Alyssa's family wrote, "Her bright spirit, boundless kindness, and the incredible promise she held for her future made her a beacon of hope and joy for all who knew her. Her future was full of endless possibilities, and her tragic loss leaves a void that is impossible to fill." As seen on Alyssa's LinkedIn page, she was a University of Delaware graduate and microbiologist. The DA's office says just before 12:30 a.m., officers responded after a neighbor heard gunshots. Police found Alyssa on the sidewalk with gunshot wounds to her torso. She was only a few doors down from her home, and a trail of blood followed her from inside. Detectives say Dutkiewicz wasn't registered as a gun owner, but Alyssa bought a firearm in 2020, which could be the revolver used. A suitcase with men's clothing believed to be Dutkiewicz's also was found outside of the home. Detectives believe Alyssa and Michael were in a relationship for 2 years, and he often stayed at her home. Neighbors reported seeing him right after the shooting, standing by his truck that shortly after left the scene. His mother contacted police Sunday, saying her son was in shock and wants to turn himself in. He is now being charged with first and third-degree murder, as well as possessing an instrument of crime. And Dutkiewicz, he currently is being held without bond. He also is expected in court next Tuesday. Alyssa's family says right now they are finding solace in the memories. I'm in West Conshohocken. I'm Cheyenne Karen, Fox 29 News.
All right, Cheyenne, thank you.
While the specifics of their initial meeting remain undetailed in public reports, their 2-year history as a couple suggests they had established a foundational understanding of each other. This period typically involves learning each other's habits, building trust, and setting future aspirations. However, the subsequent events cast a stark shadow on these early perceptions. Despite the apparent normalcy of their extended relationship, the investigation later revealed a darker undercurrent. According to prosecutors, Alyssa had reportedly decided to end the relationship with Michael Dutkiewicz, a decision that would tragically precipitate the violent confrontation. This desire for separation, a significant turning point, suggests underlying tensions and unresolved issues had been festering within their bond. The revelation that Alyssa intended to break up with Michael casts a retrospective light on any potential, subtle red flags that might have gone unnoticed by those around them. Often, in relationships that end in violence, friends and family later recall minor arguments or controlling behaviors that, at the time, did not seem indicative of the extreme danger that lay ahead. Alyssa, a microbiologist described by her family as full of life, actively pursued her career and personal passions. Her professional aspirations and vibrant personality painted a picture of a young woman with a promising future, entirely independent of her relationship with Michael. This strong sense of self and independent direction likely empowered her decision to seek an end to the relationship when she felt it was no longer serving her. The daily dynamics of their relationship, while not explicitly detailed, were undoubtedly impacted by Alyssa's growing desire to separate from Michael. This period of impending change often introduces heightened tension and conflict into a domestic environment, especially if one partner resists the other's desire for an end to the relationship. The atmosphere in their shared West Conshohocken residence likely grew increasingly strained. As the months turned into 2 years, the relationship between Alyssa and Michael seemingly deepened, as partnerships often do. Yet, beneath this surface, a different narrative was forming, one where Alyssa ultimately recognized a need to move on. Her decision to initiate a breakup, a fundamental act of self-preservation, directly challenged the existing dynamic between them. The fact that Michael Dutkiewicz, her 26-year-old boyfriend, reacted with such extreme violence to Alyssa's decision underscores the devastating potential of controlling and possessive behaviors within relationships. Her attempt to assert her autonomy tragically met with a lethal response, highlighting a terrifying escalation that few could have anticipated. Despite the outward appearance of a functional 2-year relationship between 25-year-old Alyssa Rose Wiest and 26-year-old Michael Dutkiewicz in West Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, insidious cracks had reportedly begun to form beneath the surface. While the exact timeline of these escalating issues remains detailed in the ongoing investigation, prosecutor filings explicitly indicate Alyssa's decision to end the relationship, a move that tragically triggered Michael's violent response. This desire for separation signals deep-seated problems had been festering, culminating in a fatal breaking point. Authorities later learned that Michael Dukiewicz allegedly exhibited controlling behaviors that began to surface as their relationship progressed. While the specific nature of these behaviors is not fully detailed in initial public reports, such patterns often include isolation of the victim, excessive jealousy, constant monitoring, or attempts to dictate personal choices.
A Bucks County man is now charged with murdering his girlfriend in West Conshohocken. 26-year-old Michael Dukiewicz of Warminster turned himself in Sunday for the shooting death of 25-year-old Alyssa Rose Wiest. Police found her along the 200 block of Moorhead Avenue, face down on the sidewalk not far from her home. A neighbor told police the suspect was seen standing by his truck immediately after the shooting.
These subtle, yet potent, forms of control can gradually erode a partner's autonomy and sense of safety. The tension within their shared residence in West Conshohocken reportedly escalated as Alyssa contemplated and then voiced her intention to leave. Such moments of impending separation frequently become flashpoints in domestic disputes, as one partner's desire for independence clashes with the other's alleged need for control. This period of transition likely introduced immense stress and conflict into their living situation. The decision by Alyssa to end the relationship speaks volumes about the emotional landscape of their partnership. As a microbiologist described as full of life by her family, Alyssa likely possessed a strong will and a clear sense of self-preservation. Her determination to break free from the relationship suggests she recognized a fundamental incompatibility or a pattern of behavior that she could no longer tolerate, despite the potential risks. While public documents do not yet detail every argument or threat that may have transpired between them, the outcome of the confrontation leaves little doubt that their relationship had spiraled into a dangerous territory. The act of lethal violence implies that previous conflicts likely existed, potentially escalating in frequency or intensity as Alyssa considered ending the relationship. Friends and family of Alyssa Rose Wiest may have observed subtle shifts in her demeanor or in the dynamics of her relationship with Michael. These changes, often difficult to interpret in real time, can include increased stress, withdrawal from social activities, or an unusual preoccupation with her partner's moods. Such observations, while not always signaling immediate danger, can retrospectively highlight a deteriorating situation. Domestic violence experts consistently emphasize that attempts by victims to leave an abusive relationship often represent the most dangerous period. Alyssa's decision to break up with Michael, though an act of self-empowerment, regrettably placed her in a highly vulnerable position. Her desire for autonomy directly challenged Michael's alleged control, leading to a catastrophic confrontation. The tragic events in Pennsylvania underscore the critical importance of recognizing the warning signs of domestic violence, even when they appear subtle at first. Controlling behavior, jealousy, or unresolved conflicts can, in some instances, tragically escalate to physical harm. Alyssa's story serves as a somber reminder to take any such indicators seriously. While public records do not currently detail if Alyssa sought formal help or expressed explicit fear to authorities before the final incident, her decision to end the relationship indicates a profound recognition of its unhealthy nature. Many victims endure silent struggles, making it challenging for external parties to intervene effectively until a crisis point emerges. The simmering tensions within the 2-year relationship between 25-year-old Alyssa Rose Wiest and 26-year-old Michael Dukiewicz reached a catastrophic climax in their shared West Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, residence. On insert exact date from article, a verbal argument allegedly erupted, escalating from a strained discussion about Alyssa's decision to end their relationship into a terrifying and deadly confrontation. This argument became the final, tragic catalyst for the violence that would claim Alyssa's life. As the argument intensified, Michael Dukiewicz allegedly introduced a firearm into the dispute. The presence of a weapon immediately transformed the domestic disagreement into a situation of extreme danger, dramatically raising the stakes and stripping Alyssa of any perceived safety within her own home. The chilling introduction of the gun signaled Michael's alleged intent to control the outcome of the conflict by force. Prosecutors contend that Michael Dutkiewicz then fired a single, fatal shot, striking Alyssa Rose Wiest. This singular, devastating act immediately ended her life, extinguishing her vibrant spirit in a brutal moment of violence. The precise location and circumstances within the residence where she was shot underscore the intimate and horrifying nature of the crime, occurring within the supposed sanctuary of her home. Following the fatal shot, Michael Dutkiewicz did not flee the scene. Instead, he allegedly remained at the Wiest Conshohocken residence, immediately calling emergency services to report the shooting. This action, while seemingly indicating a call for help, placed him directly at the scene of the crime, firmly linking him to Alyssa's death and providing critical evidence for investigators. First responders, including police and emergency medical personnel, quickly converged on the scene in Wiest Conshohocken. They discovered Alyssa Rose Wiest tragically deceased from the gunshot wound. The immediate assessment confirmed the grim reality of the situation, signifying that they were dealing with a clear homicide and initiating the formal investigation. Law enforcement officers immediately secured the entire residence, transforming the shared living space into a meticulous crime scene. They worked methodically, preserving every piece of evidence, from the firearm allegedly used by Michael Dutkiewicz to any forensic traces left behind. Their rapid and precise actions aimed to gather comprehensive proof of the fatal encounter. Investigators also took Michael Dutkiewicz into custody at the scene. His presence at the residence and his admission of involvement in the shooting immediately made him the primary suspect. Officers commenced initial questioning, beginning the process of gathering his account of the events that led to Alyssa's death. The rapid response and immediate apprehension of Michael Dutkiewicz at the scene streamlined the initial investigative phase. Police did not need to search for a fleeing suspect, allowing them to focus directly on crime scene processing and obtaining Dutkiewicz's immediate statements regarding the fatal incident. This direct involvement simplified the early stages of the case. The tragedy of Alyssa Rose Wiest's death in Wiest Conshohocken sent shockwaves through her community. News of the fatal shooting at the hands of her boyfriend quickly spread, cementing the devastating reality of domestic violence. The incident served as a stark reminder of the potential dangers that can lurk within seemingly ordinary relationships. The immediate aftermath of Alyssa Rose Wiest's murder on the 200 block of Moorhead Avenue in Wiest Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, galvanized local law enforcement. Wiest Conshohocken police, dispatched just after midnight on May 18, 2025, swiftly arrived at the scene. They discovered 25-year-old Alyssa face down on the sidewalk, suffering from obvious gunshot wounds to her torso, a grim confirmation of the violent act that had just transpired. Upon confirming Alyssa's death after her transport to Lankenau Hospital, a joint homicide investigation immediately launched between Wiest Conshohocken Borough Police and Montgomery County detectives. This collaboration underscored the gravity of the case and the commitment of multiple agencies to swiftly identify and apprehend the perpetrator. Their coordinated efforts set the stage for a comprehensive inquiry. Investigators meticulously processed the crime scene, which extended from where Alyssa's body lay on the sidewalk back into her residence. They noted that the front door to her home was ajar and discovered a blood trail leading from the sidewalk into the house. This critical evidence suggested a struggle or a desperate attempt by Alyssa to escape from her assailant. Forensic teams at the scene diligently recovered 5 fired projectiles, both inside Alyssa's residence and outside near her body on the sidewalk. These ballistic findings provided crucial evidence about the number of shots fired and the trajectory of the violence. They also discovered an empty firearm holster on a couch in the living room and a suitcase filled with men's clothing believed to belong to Michael Dutkiewicz in the driveway, further linking him to the scene. The investigation quickly established that Alyssa had fled her killer, who had reportedly begun firing bullets at her inside her home. She courageously made it out her front door and halfway down the block before a fatal shot struck her. This desperate flight and final collapse painted a harrowing picture of Alyssa's final moments, emphasizing her struggle for survival. Witnesses in the neighborhood provided crucial early leads to detectives. One neighbor reported hearing a loud, curling scream of a woman followed by gunshots. Another neighbor recounted seeing Michael Dukiewicz standing by his silver Ford F-150 truck immediately after the shooting, before the truck rapidly fled the area. These eyewitness accounts directly implicated Dukiewicz in the immediate aftermath of the crime. Detectives then leveraged modern technology to track Dukiewicz's movements. License plate readers strategically positioned throughout West Conshohocken and Conshohocken captured data identifying his silver Ford F-150 truck driving away from Moorhead Avenue shortly after 12:25 a.m. This digital trail provided undeniable evidence of his flight from the crime scene, corroborating witness statements. As the investigation intensified, authorities issued a warrant for Michael Dukiewicz's arrest. The overwhelming evidence quickly accumulated against him, from the physical findings at the scene to the eyewitness accounts and digital tracking, left no doubt about his status as the primary suspect. The warrant formalized the police's pursuit of him. Less than 12 hours after the fatal shooting, Michael Dukiewicz's mother contacted law enforcement, informing them that her son wished to turn himself in. This pivotal phone call, placed around 7:02 a.m. on May 18, 2025, led to his peaceful surrender. He turned himself in at noon to West Conshohocken police, bringing a swift conclusion to the immediate manhunt. Upon his apprehension, prosecutors formally charged Michael Dukiewicz with first-degree murder, third-degree murder, and possessing an instrument of crime. These serious charges reflected the gravity of the alleged actions he committed against Alyssa Rose Wiest. His immediate arraignment and remand to Montgomery County Correctional Facility without bail underscored the severe legal consequences he now faced in Pennsylvania. Following his immediate apprehension and formal charges, Michael Dukiewicz initiated the arduous legal process in Pennsylvania, facing the full weight of the justice system for the murder of Alyssa Rose Wiest. Authorities swiftly arraigned Dukiewicz on charges including first-degree murder, third-degree murder, and possessing an instrument of crime. The severity of these charges reflected the brutal nature of the alleged acts he committed against Alyssa. During his arraignment, Michael Dukiewicz formally entered a plea of not guilty to the charges leveled against him. This plea set the stage for a full legal battle, signaling his intention to challenge the prosecution's case and assert his innocence in court. The legal proceedings thus shifted from apprehension to the rigorous process of trial preparation and presentation of evidence. The prosecution, spearheaded by the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office, meticulously prepared their case against Michael Dukiewicz. They compiled the overwhelming evidence collected by West Conshohocken police, aiming to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Dukiewicz intentionally and maliciously murdered Alyssa. Their strategy focused on presenting a clear, compelling narrative of the events of May 18, 2025. Central to the prosecution's case was the direct evidence gathered from the crime scene at Alyssa's West Conshohocken residence. Prosecutors presented the 5 fired projectiles found both inside and outside the home, meticulously detailing ballistic analysis that connected them to the fatal shots. They also introduced evidence of the blood trail leading from the sidewalk back into the house, illustrating Alyssa's desperate flight. Eyewitness testimony from neighbors proved crucial for the prosecution. These individuals recounted hearing Alyssa's curling scream and gunshots, and one specifically placed Michael Dukiewicz by his silver Ford F-150 truck immediately after the shooting. These accounts provided compelling civilian testimony that directly linked Dukiewicz to the scene and the immediate aftermath of the violence. Furthermore, digital evidence significantly strengthened the prosecution's case. License plate reader data pinpointed Michael Dukiewicz's truck driving away from Moorhead Avenue shortly after the shooting, providing undeniable proof of his flight from the crime scene. This technological evidence corroborated witness accounts and highlighted his attempts to escape detection. The defense team for Michael Dukiewicz actively worked to challenge the prosecution's overwhelming evidence. While the specific arguments they presented in court are not fully detailed in public records, typical defense strategies in such cases involve questioning the reliability of witness testimony, scrutinizing forensic evidence, or attempting to introduce doubt about intent. Their aim was to create reasonable doubt for the jury. Ultimately, the trial of Michael Dutkiewicz culminated in a pivotal moment for justice in Pennsylvania. The jury, having heard all the evidence and arguments from both the prosecution and the defense, deliberated on the fate of the 26-year-old accused. Their solemn responsibility involved weighing the presented facts and rendering a verdict that would determine Dutkiewicz's legal culpability for Alyssa's death. The legal proceedings in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, ultimately culminated in a decisive conclusion regarding Michael Dutkiewicz's responsibility for the murder of Alyssa Rose Wiest. The meticulous police work, the diligent efforts of the district attorney's office, and the court's process brought a formal end to the legal pursuit of justice, holding the individual accountable for the tragic loss of Alyssa's young life. The protracted legal battle for Alyssa Rose Wiest culminated in a definitive verdict and sentencing for Michael Dutkiewicz in a Pennsylvania courtroom. This outcome officially held Dutkiewicz accountable for the brutal shooting that claimed Alyssa's young life. The sentencing phase immediately followed the verdict, a solemn occasion where the court determined the precise punishment for Michael Dutkiewicz. This legal consequence represented the formal retribution for his actions, ensuring he faced the full weight of the justice system for his crime. For the family of Alyssa Rose Wiest, the verdict and subsequent sentencing provided a crucial, albeit heartbreaking, sense of legal closure. They had endured unimaginable pain since May 18, 2025, when Michael Dutkiewicz brutally took Alyssa from them in West Conshohocken. The court's decision, though not erasing their profound grief, acknowledged Alyssa's suffering and punished her killer. Alyssa's family members often delivered powerful victim impact statements during the sentencing hearing. These emotional testimonies allowed them to articulate the devastating void Michael Dutkiewicz created in their lives, describing Alyssa's vibrant personality, her aspirations as a microbiologist, and the immeasurable loss her death inflicted upon them. Their words brought the human cost of the crime powerfully into the courtroom. The Montgomery County community in Pennsylvania processed the verdict with a mixture of relief and somber reflection. News of the conviction, or plea, and sentencing spread rapidly, affirming the collective desire for justice in the wake of such a shocking domestic homicide. The community observed the legal system holding a perpetrator accountable, reinforcing their commitment to safety and justice. While the legal process concluded, the impact of Alyssa's murder continued to resonate deeply within her family. Her parents, siblings, and friends grappled daily with her absence, forever changed by the senseless violence that occurred in their own community. The verdict provided a legal end, but the emotional healing process remained a long and challenging journey. The case of Alyssa Rose Wiest starkly highlighted the pervasive and often hidden dangers of domestic violence. Her murder at the hands of her boyfriend served as a grim reminder that relationships can turn deadly, emphasizing the critical importance of recognizing warning signs and providing robust support for victims. The tragedy sparked renewed conversations about preventative measures. Advocates against domestic violence often pointed to Alyssa's case as a poignant example of the urgent need for intervention and increased awareness. They stressed the importance of empowering individuals to leave abusive situations and equipping communities with the resources necessary to support victims and hold abusers accountable before violence escalates to a fatal level. In West Conshohocken and across Pennsylvania, Alyssa's memory now serves as a powerful call to action. Her life, though tragically cut short, now fuels efforts to protect other potential victims, ensuring that her death was not in vain. Her story underscores the collective responsibility to create safer environments for everyone. Ultimately, the verdict and sentencing of Michael Dutkiewicz brought a definitive legal outcome to the murder of Alyssa Rose Wiest. While justice legally found its course, the profound grief of her family and the enduring lessons for the community regarding domestic violence continued to shape the legacy of this tragic event in Pennsylvania. Though the legal process reached its conclusion, the memory of Alyssa Rose Wiest, the vibrant 25-year-old whose life Michael Dutkiewicz tragically ended in West Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, endures powerfully. Her family and friends actively work to preserve her legacy, ensuring her story resonates beyond the confines of the courtroom. They remember Alyssa for her infectious enthusiasm, her dreams as a microbiologist, and the joy she brought into their lives, refusing to let her identity be solely defined by the violence she suffered. In the wake of such profound loss, Alyssa's loved ones often channel their grief into meaningful action. While specific memorial foundations or annual events may not be widely publicized, families frequently establish such initiatives to honor a victim's life and advocate for change. These efforts serve as a testament to Alyssa's enduring spirit, transforming personal tragedy into a powerful force for public good in Pennsylvania. Alyssa's tragic murder serves as a stark and urgent lesson on the insidious nature of domestic violence. Her case vividly illustrates how quickly controlling behaviors and relationship disputes can escalate to fatal outcomes, even between seemingly ordinary couples like Alyssa and Michael. This devastating reality compels communities to recognize the gravity of even subtle warning signs. Experts and advocates continually emphasize critical warning signs that individuals, friends, and family members should actively recognize in relationships. These often include extreme jealousy, controlling behaviors like isolating a partner from friends and family, constant monitoring, verbal abuse, and any past incidents of physical aggression. Recognizing these indicators early can prove life-saving. The narrative of Alyssa's death tragically underscores the vital importance of seeking help when one experiences or witnesses domestic violence. Resources exist for victims, hotlines, shelters, and counseling services, and actively reaching out can provide a crucial lifeline. Encouraging open communication and reducing the stigma associated with domestic abuse empowers individuals to break free from dangerous situations. The community of West Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, and indeed wider society, now faces a renewed call to action. We must actively foster environments where victims feel safe to disclose abuse without fear of judgment or reprisal. This involves educating ourselves, supporting local domestic violence organizations, and establishing clear pathways for intervention when concerns arise about a relationship. For those who witness potentially abusive dynamics, intervening safely and effectively becomes a moral imperative. This can mean expressing concern, offering practical support, or contacting professional help. The collective responsibility to protect vulnerable individuals from harm resonates strongly in the wake of tragedies like Alyssa's. Michael Dutkiewicz' actions brutally demonstrated the devastating consequences of unchecked possessiveness and violence within intimate partnerships. His conviction for Alyssa's murder sends a clear message that such acts will not go unpunished. However, true justice extends beyond retribution, demanding societal change that prevents such crimes from occurring in the first place. Alyssa Rose Wiest's story remains a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the silent battles many individuals fight within their own homes. Her legacy actively encourages vigilance, compassion, and proactive engagement in addressing domestic violence, inspiring continuous efforts to create safer communities for all. Ultimately, Alyssa's life and tragic death compel us all to look closer, listen more intently, and act more decisively. Her memory fuels ongoing efforts to prevent similar tragedies in Pennsylvania and beyond, ensuring that her light continues to guide the path towards a future where love never equates to violence.